No more excuses. Let that sink in for a moment. How many dreams have you left on the table because you told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, or it's not the right time? How many opportunities have slipped away because you convinced yourself you weren't ready? Here's the truth: 2025 doesn't care about your excuses, and neither does success. The clock is ticking, and the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't have it. This year, it's time to rewrite that story. No more delays, no more justifications. This is the year you take charge, step up, and finally make it happen. If you really want something, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. Think about that for a moment. Those words aren't just a quote, they're a mirror. A mirror that forces us to confront whether we're building bridges to our dreams or walls around our potential. Excuses are comfortable, aren't they? They're the perfect companions to procrastination, and they love to sit back and tell us, it's okay, there's always tomorrow. But let me tell you something about tomorrow. It doesn't have to come. And even if it does, it's not guaranteed to look the way you imagined. Life doesn't stop and wait for you to get ready. It moves forward with or without your permission. Now here we are at the doorstep of 2025. Another year, another chance. That's the beauty of life. It keeps handing us opportunities to start fresh, to begin again, to leave the old behind and embrace what's next. But let me be honest with you, 2025 will not be different unless you are. Every year, millions of people make resolutions, set goals, and tell themselves, this is my year, and yet for so many, those same goals and dreams remain untouched by the time December rolls around. Why? Because the gap between a dream and a reality is bridged by action, not intention. Think of 2025 as a blank canvas. Imagine the possibilities. You could paint a masterpiece, or you could leave it blank. The brush is in your hand. This is where the choice becomes real excuses or results. You can't have both. Let's not fool ourselves into thinking that the circumstances of life are going to change to accommodate our excuses. They won't. The world is indifferent to whether we succeed or fail. Success doesn't care about your reasons why you couldn't. It only recognizes the actions you took to make it happen. Let me share a story with you. It's about a man who had every excuse to fail, yet he chose not to. He grew up poor, so poor, in fact, that he couldn't afford to finish school. His family struggled just to put food on the table. But he had a dream to start a business. Now, people around him laughed. They said it was impossible. He didn't have the money, the education, or the connections. By all accounts, he should have given up. But instead, he made a decision. He said to himself, if I wait for the perfect conditions, I'll be waiting forever. I'm going to start now with what I have. That man worked tirelessly. He borrowed tools from neighbors, sold small goods door to door, and reinvested every penny he earned. It wasn't glamorous and it wasn't easy, but year by year he built something remarkable. Today, his small business has grown into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. When people ask him how he did it, his answer is always the same: I stopped making excuses and started making progress. The power of a new year isn't in the date, it's in the opportunity. It's in the chance to draw a line in the sand and say, no more excuses, but let me warn you, the choice isn't always easy. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. It means admitting that maybe the only thing holding you back isn't the economy, your upbringing, or your lack of time. It's you. Now, don't take that as criticism, take it as empowerment. Because if you're the problem, that means you're also the solution. You don't need to wait for someone else to change your life. The power is already in your hands. Here's the key to 2025: decide what you want, and decide that you want it badly enough to fight for it. Let me repeat that: decide what you want, and decide that you want it badly enough to fight for it. That's the first step. You see, goals are great, but they're meaningless without commitment. And commitment means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. I want you to picture this year like a garden. If you plant seeds and water them, you'll get growth. But if you neglect the garden, it doesn't stay empty, it gets overrun with weeds. Excuses are like weeds. They grow fast, they choke out the good things, and they leave you with a mess to clean up. So here's my challenge to you. Make 2025 the year you stop watering weeds. Stop feeding the excuses that tell you it's okay to stay the same. Start feeding the part of you that wants more, that dreams bigger, and that knows you're capable of achieving great things. Ask yourself this: what do you want your life to look like a year from now? Do you want to look back and feel proud, knowing you gave it everything you had? Or do you want to be sitting in the same place, making the same excuses, wondering why nothing has changed? The power is yours. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need the courage to start. Let's talk about excuses, those self-imposed limitations that we often treat like shields, but in reality they're chains. Chains that hold us back from reaching our potential, from achieving our dreams, and from becoming the best version of ourselves. What are excuses, really? They're just stories we tell ourselves to justify staying in our comfort zone. They're the reasons we create to avoid discomfort, hard work, or the fear of failure. But here's the truth: excuses don't protect us, they trap us. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'm not ready," or "it's not the right time," you're reinforcing those chains, making it harder to break free. Let's take a closer look at how these excuses show up in different areas of life. In your career, maybe you said, "I don't have enough experience to apply for that promotion," or "the market is too competitive right now to start my business." In your health, it might sound like, "I don't have time to exercise," or "eating healthy is too expensive in relationships." The excuses can be even more personal. "I'm not ready to trust someone again," or "I don't have the energy to fix what's broken." These excuses might feel valid in the moment, but over time they add up. They become the story of missed opportunities. Think about the job you didn't apply for because you doubted yourself, or the fitness goals you abandoned because you convinced yourself you didn't have time, or the relationships that slipped through your fingers because you let fear take the wheel. Let me share a real-life example. I once knew a man who had a passion for writing. He dreamed of publishing a book, but he kept putting it off. His excuse? "I'm too busy with work." Years went by, and his book never got written. Then one day he lost his job. Suddenly he had all the time in the world, but the spark was gone. The dream he once had faded because he let his excuses dictate his life. Contrast that with another individual I met, a single mother with 2 jobs and barely any free time. She had every reason to say, "I can't do more," but instead of letting excuses define her, she used her situation as motivation. She woke up an hour earlier every day to work on her side hustle. It wasn't easy, but today she owns her own business. She didn't wait for the perfect time, she created it. Excuses rob us of the opportunities we're too afraid to seize. They keep us stuck in a cycle of what ifs and if onlys, but here's the thing: life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Opportunities come and go, and every excuse you make is a door you close on yourself. So ask yourself, what are the excuses you've been holding on to? What stories are you telling yourself that keep you from stepping into your full potential? Recognize them for what they are: chains. And know this: you have the power to break free. You just have to decide that your dreams are more important than your comfort. Because at the end of the day, excuses might make you feel safe, but they'll never make you successful. It's time to let them go and take back control of your life. The cost of excuses is a debt that grows silently but surely. It's a price we pay in missed opportunities, lost potential, and unfulfilled dreams. At first glance, excuses may seem harmless justifications we use to protect ourselves from failure, criticism, or discomfort. But beneath the surface, they are thieves, stealing our time, growth, and success, and leaving behind a lingering sense of regret and stagnation. Imagine a young professional who dreams of starting her own business. She tells herself she needs to save more money, gain more experience, or wait for the perfect time. Years pass, and she's still waiting. What she doesn't realize is that there will never be a perfect time. The perfect time is the moment she decides to take the first step. The cost of her excuses isn't just the time she's lost, it's the potential success she's missed out on. Now let's talk about growth. Growth requires effort, risk, and the willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Excuses, on the other hand, keep us confined to what's familiar and safe. They prevent us from learning new skills, taking on challenges, or pursuing opportunities that could transform our lives. The cost of excuses in terms of growth is immense because every excuse is a missed lesson, a missed experience, and a missed chance to become better. Take, for instance, someone who avoids public speaking because they're afraid of being judged. They convince themselves that they're just not good at it, or that it's not their thing over time. They miss out on promotions, leadership roles, and opportunities to share their ideas. The cost of their excuses isn't just professional stagnation, it's the confidence in competence they could have built if they had faced their fear head on. Success, the ultimate goal for many, is another casualty of excuses. Success doesn't come from wishing, hoping, or waiting. It comes from action. Excuses are the enemy of action. They convince us to stay on the sidelines instead of getting in the game. And the longer we stay on the sidelines, the harder it becomes to jump in. The cost of excuses in terms of success is heartbreaking because it's not just about the goals we don't achieve, it's about the person we don't become. Consider an athlete with incredible talent but a habit of making excuses for skipping practice. He tells himself he's too tired, too busy, or not feeling well. Over time, his talent diminishes, and he watches as others with less natural ability but more discipline surpass him. The cost of his excuses isn't just losing competitions, it's losing the dream of reaching his full potential. But the cost of excuses isn't just external. It's not just about the opportunities, growth, or success we miss. There's an emotional and mental toll that comes with living a life of excuses. Every time we make an excuse deep down, we know we're letting ourselves down. Over time, this creates a sense of regret, a haunting feeling of what could have been. Regret is a heavy burden to carry. It's the knowledge that you had the chance to do more, be more, and achieve more. But you didn't. And unlike failure, which teaches us valuable lessons and builds resilience, regret leaves us empty. It's a reminder of what we gave up, not because we couldn't, but because we didn't try. Stagnation is another emotional cost of excuses. When we stop challenging ourselves, we stop growing. And when we stop growing, we start feeling stuck. This feeling of being stuck often leads to frustration, dissatisfaction, and even depression. We look around and see others moving forward, achieving their goals and living fulfilling lives while we remain in the same place, held back by the chains of our own making. Excuses also erode our confidence and self-esteem. Every time we make an excuse, we reinforce the belief that we're not capable, strong, or worthy enough to succeed. Over time, this belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We start to see ourselves as victims of circumstance rather than masters of our own destiny. So, how do we break free from the cost of excuses? It starts with awareness. Recognize the excuses you've been making and acknowledge the price you're paying for them. Ask yourself, what am I giving up by holding on to this excuse? When you see the true cost of your excuses, you'll be motivated to let them go. Next, replace excuses with action. Start small, but start. If you've been telling yourself you don't have time to exercise, commit to just 10 minutes a day. If you've been avoiding a difficult conversation, set a time and date to have it. Action builds momentum, and momentum is the antidote to excuses. Finally, hold yourself accountable. Share your goals with someone you trust and ask them to check in on your progress. Accountability creates pressure, and pressure can be a powerful motivator. The cost of excuses is too high to ignore. They rob us of time, growth, success, and peace of mind. But the good news is that it's never too late to change. You have the power to break free from the chains of excuses and reclaim your life? The question is, will you? 2025 is the year where excuses lose their grip on your potential. It's the moment when you decide that enough is enough, and you take control of your life, one step at a time. This is the year where dreams become reality, not because you've waited for the right moment, but because you've decided that the time is now. Why must 2025 be different? Because the past years have been filled with waiting. Waiting for the perfect time, waiting for someone else to give you the opportunity, waiting for circumstances to align just right. But waiting has never built anything meaningful. It's action consistent, intentional, and unwavering that creates change. And 2025 is your year to take that action. Old habits are the chains that have held you back long enough. They've become comfortable, familiar even. But they've also kept you stagnant. You've told yourself, one more year, maybe next time, or it's too late for me now. Yet as time passes, those old habits don't disappear, they deepen, taking root like weeds that choke out your potential. This is the year to break free from those habits and create new, empowering ones that align with the person you want to become. Think about the small, seemingly insignificant things that have accumulated over the years: skipping workouts, procrastinating on important tasks, avoiding difficult conversations, settling for mediocrity. Each of these actions or inactions has compounded into barriers that have prevented you from living at your highest potential. The urgency of now cannot be overstated. Every day you wait is another opportunity lost. Every week you postpone is another step away from the life you envision. Time waits for no one, and it certainly won't wait for your excuses. This is the moment to take responsibility for your life, to own every decision, and to recognize that no one else is coming to save you. Taking responsibility isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. It's about acknowledging that your choices shape your destiny. And while external circumstances may influence your path, you have the power to choose how you respond. You decide whether to let fear, doubt, and excuses dictate your actions, or whether you rise above them and move forward. Think about the alternative: a life filled with regrets, missed opportunities, and a sense of unfulfilled potential. That's not the legacy you want to leave behind. Instead, you have the chance to create a new story, a story where you step into your greatness, where you rise above challenges, and where every action you take brings you closer to your dreams. 2025 is your year to take that leap. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about starting. Start where you are with what you have. Whether it's a new business, a healthier lifestyle, better relationships, or personal growth, whatever your goal may be, this is the time to begin. This year, stop waiting for the right conditions. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The moment you decide that enough is enough and it's time to take control of your life. There's a fire within you that has been dimmed by excuses, fear, and procrastination. Now is the time to reignite that fire, to commit to growth, progress, and the pursuit of excellence. To take those first steps, no matter how small, knowing that each step forward is a step towards the person you were always meant to be. So ask yourself, what excuses have you been hiding behind? What old habits have you been tolerating? What opportunities have you been letting slip through your fingers? This is the year to face those questions head on. This is the year to stop waiting and start doing. You have the power to change your life, and the only way to truly fail is to never try. Embrace the challenge, take ownership of your journey, and trust that every action you take will lead you closer to your purpose. The time is now. 2025 must be different. Because you are different, you are ready. The mindset shift from excuses to execution is a transformation that can unlock your true potential. It's not just about wanting to achieve more, it's about changing the way you think, behave, and approach challenges. When you shift from relying on excuses to embracing self-discipline and accountability, you create a foundation for sustained growth and success. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of any meaningful achievement. It's the ability to do what needs to be done. Needful like it. Self-discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers, and it's the key to moving beyond excuses. Without it, excuses become easy crutches, reasons we lean on to avoid discomfort, delay progress, or sidestep difficult decisions. To build self-discipline, you must commit to consistency. Consistent actions, no matter how small, build momentum over time. Whether it's waking up earlier to work on your goals, sticking to a budget, or prioritizing your health, every small step you take strengthens your self-discipline. The more disciplined you become, the harder it is to justify excuses because your focus shifts towards solutions rather than obstacles. Accountability, holding yourself to higher standards. Accountability takes self-discipline a step further by placing you in a position where you're responsible for your actions regardless of external circumstances. It's easy to make excuses when no one is holding you accountable, but when you share your goals with someone else, the stakes are higher. Accountability partners, mentors, or even journaling your progress create a sense of obligation. When you know someone is expecting you to take action, it becomes harder to fall back on excuses. Accountability fosters trust, not just with others, but with yourself. It reinforces the belief that you are capable of following through, and as you meet your commitments, you build a deeper sense of self-trust. Excuses thrive in the dark corners of our minds where fear, doubt, and procrastination reside. The first step in eliminating them is recognizing them for what they are: nothing more than mental barriers meant to protect you from perceived discomfort or failure. Once you're aware of your excuses, you can begin dismantling them with intentional actions. One effective strategy is to ask yourself powerful questions. For example, instead of asking, "Why can't I achieve this?" shift your focus to, "What can I do to make progress today?" This simple change in perspective forces you to confront the excuses and redirect your energy toward practical solutions. Another strategy is to reframe your mindset around obstacles. Instead of viewing challenges as insurmountable, start seeing them as opportunities to grow. When you adopt this perspective, excuses lose their power because you're not looking for reasons to quit. You're looking for ways to push through, taking small, consistent actions. The road to execution isn't paved with monumental leaps. It's created through a series of small, consistent actions. Many people fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect moment, for the right conditions, or for a burst of inspiration to hit. But progress doesn't work that way. It's the accumulation of countless small actions that lead to significant change. Consistency is the glue that holds the mindset shift together. Whether you're writing a few sentences every day toward a book, dedicating time to networking, or consistently improving a skill, each action builds a layer of progress. Small actions may seem insignificant at first, but over time they compound into results that were unimaginable when you began. For example, consider someone who wants to improve their physical health. If they set a goal to exercise for an hour every day, but consistently skip workouts, they'll see little progress. However, if they commit to 15-minute workouts every day, those small steps add up, leading to greater overall results without the overwhelm. The power of small, consistent actions lies in their ability to create momentum. Momentum shifts the mindset from thinking about what could go wrong to focusing on what can go right. The more consistently you execute your actions, the less room there is for excuses to creep in. Your environment plays a crucial role in reinforcing this mindset shift. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, challenge your excuses, and hold you accountable. The people you spend time with shape your beliefs, actions, and results. If you're consistently around individuals who make excuses or settle for mediocrity, it becomes easier to adopt the same mindset. Conversely, when you immerse yourself in a community that values action and self-discipline, you'll be more inclined to take ownership of your life and execute on your goals. Moreover, seeking out resources, whether they're books, podcasts, courses, or mentorship, can provide the tools and insights necessary for eliminating excuses and maintaining focus. Education is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge to real-world situations. In conclusion, the shift from excuses to execution requires a multifaceted approach. It's about cultivating self-discipline, embracing accountability, identifying and eliminating excuses, and taking consistent action toward your goals. When you combine these elements, you create a powerful formula for transforming your mindset and achieving lasting success. This is the year to stop waiting and start doing, and with every step forward, you'll move closer to becoming the person you were destined to be.